There are moments in life when you can feel it before you even see it. A conversation that suddenly cools. An invitation that never comes. A familiar voice that no longer carries warmth. It is easy to wonder what you did wrong. To replay every word, every glance, trying to find the moment it all shifted. But often, the reason people secretly turn against you has little to do with your faults, and much more to do with the silent wars they are fighting within themselves. Today, I want to walk with you through some of those hidden reasons, not to make you doubt yourself, not to fill your heart with suspicion, but to offer you something quieter, something stronger. A sense of calm understanding, a reminder that even in the face of unspoken resentment, you have the power to remain grounded. You have the strength to stay kind, to stay clear, to stay true. You are not here to please every heart you encounter. You are here to live with wisdom, courage, and an open spirit. Let us begin. Reason 1. Misunderstandings and poor communication. Sometimes, the distance between two people is not built by betrayal or malice. It is built by silence. By words left unsaid. By meanings lost in the small spaces between sentences. We often assume others understand our intentions. We believe that kindness will be recognized, that honesty will be appreciated. But the truth is, communication is fragile. It bends and breaks under the weight of our fears, our assumptions, our hurried lives. A simple remark can be heard as criticism. A quiet moment can be mistaken for coldness. A decision made in private can be seen as a betrayal by someone who never understood the reasons behind it. And once a misunderstanding takes root, it can grow quietly, feeding on doubts and silent frustrations. Before long, a person who once smiled when they saw you might now look away. Not because you harmed them, but because somewhere along the way, they built a story in their mind where you were the villain. And in the absence of open, honest words, stories like that often go unchallenged. The Stoics taught that we must accept what is outside of our control. We cannot always correct every misunderstanding. We cannot force someone to see us clearly if they have already decided to look through a broken lens. But we can choose to communicate with clarity, with patience, and with kindness, even when the other person does not. It is not weakness to reach out and try to understand. It is not foolishness to offer an explanation, even if it may not be received. It is a reflection of your strength, of your commitment to living with integrity, no matter how the world responds. When you notice tension in a relationship, ask yourself with honesty, have I spoken clearly? Have I listened carefully? Have I offered the grace I hope to receive? Sometimes, no matter what you do, the misunderstanding will remain. And that is okay. Some gaps are not yours to bridge. Some lessons are not yours to teach. In those moments, be at peace with your own heart. Trust that in choosing sincerity over pride, compassion over anger, you have honored the better part of yourself. True communication is not just about being heard. It is about standing steady, even when you are misunderstood. It is about continuing to speak with truth and walk with grace, even when others choose a different path. Because at the end of the day, the story you tell yourself about who you are, that story matters far more than the one someone else might tell about you. Reason 2. Your success awakens their jealousy. There is something quiet, almost invisible, about the way success can change the air between people. You may not notice it at first. A slightly cooler tone. A laugh that feels a little less warm. A conversation that does not flow as easily as it once did. When you grow, when you step into a new strength or achievement, you carry a light. That light can inspire those around you, but for some, it can also expose the shadows they carry inside. Jealousy is not always loud or obvious. It can hide behind polite smiles, behind casual words that feel just a little too sharp. It can live quietly in the hearts of those who feel left behind, overlooked, or reminded of their own unfulfilled dreams. The Stoics remind us that emotions like jealousy belong to the person who feels them. They arise from their own judgments, their own comparisons, their own battles with self-worth. It is not your fault that your progress unsettles someone else. It is not your burden to carry their disappointment. Still, it hurts, does it not? To see a friendship cool without clear reason. To feel tension where there used to be ease. To wonder if being true to yourself means standing alone more often than you expected. But know this, your light is not the problem. Their pain is not yours to dim yourself for. The world does not need more people shrinking themselves to make others comfortable. It needs more people who rise gently, who succeed with humility, who inspire quietly, without the need for applause. If your success awakens jealousy, respond not with arrogance, but with quiet compassion. Recognize that every soul is on its own journey. Some are fighting battles you cannot see. Some are still learning how to celebrate the victories of others without feeling smaller themselves. You do not have to explain yourself. You do not have to hide your growth or dull your joy. You simply have to walk forward with grace, keep your heart open, stay kind. But keep moving. Growth often reveals who is truly walking beside you and who was only comfortable with you when you stayed small. Let it. Do not cling to what must fall away. Do not fear the loneliness that sometimes comes with stepping into your potential. It is simply making space for those who can meet you where you are now. In time, you will find those who celebrate you, not because they need something from you, but because they recognize the light in you as something that calls to the light within themselves. Until then, honor your journey, honor your work, and trust that the ones who are meant for you will never ask you to be less than all that you are. Reason 3. You protect your boundaries. There is a quiet kind of strength in knowing where you end and where others begin. It is not loud, it does not demand attention, but it is powerful and sometimes unsettling to those who have grown used to crossing lines without being questioned. When you start protecting your boundaries, you send a message. Even without speaking, you show that your time, your energy, your heart are not for the taking. They are gifts, not obligations. Some people will respect this. They will understand, even admire, your clarity. But others may feel threatened. Not because you have done something wrong, but because you have reminded them that relationships are not about entitlement. They are about choice. It is easier in many ways to be the one who always says yes. To stretch yourself thin to meet every expectation. To avoid discomfort by sacrificing a piece of yourself. But deep down, that is not kindness. It is abandonment of the self. And the soul knows when it has been abandoned, even if the world claps for the sacrifice. when you say no with grace, when you choose rest over pleasing, when you stand firm in what feels right for you, you reclaim something sacred. You return to yourself. Yet not everyone will celebrate this return. Some will call you selfish. Some will call you distant. Some will twist your growth into something unkind. Do not let their discomfort make you doubt your worth. Do not mistake their wounded pride for a sign that you are wrong. The Stoics teach us that we are responsible for our own minds, our own choices, and our own peace. You are not responsible for managing how others react to your boundaries. It takes courage to hold your space without apology. It takes wisdom to know that loving others does not mean losing yourself. It is a quieter, slower kind of love. One that says, I honor you, but I must honor myself too. And that kind of love is rare, because it refuses to be built on resentment. It refuses to grow from guilt. If your boundaries make others uncomfortable, let them. Not with anger, not with arrogance, but with a calm trust in the path you are walking. A path that values connection without control, generosity without depletion, love without the loss of self. The people who truly care for you will learn to meet you there, not because they are forced to, but because they want to. Because the best relationships are not built by erasing boundaries, but by respecting them. And you, by protecting your own, teach the world how to love you with honor, with gentleness, with truth. Reason 4. They see themselves in you and feel exposed. There is something quietly unsettling about seeing ourselves reflected in another person. It's not always obvious at first, but sometimes, when we look at someone, they bring out parts of us we'd rather not confront. The parts we hide, the parts we avoid, the parts that stir up discomfort when they are exposed. You may not even realize it, but the way you live your life, the way you walk through this world, brings something to the surface for those around you. It might be your peace. It might be your confidence. It might be the way you found strength in places others never thought to look. For some, that's a beautiful thing. But for others, it's a mirror they're afraid to look into. It forces them to see the parts of themselves they've buried, the dreams they've let go of, the choices they've made that have shaped them into someone they didn't expect to become. And that exposure isn't always comfortable. It's not easy to face the truth of who we are, especially when we are confronted with someone who seems to be living it so authentically. You may not even realize that your success, your clarity, your ability to be present in this moment is a quiet challenge to their own narrative. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you're living in a way that's calling them to look within. And sometimes that's all it takes for someone to feel threatened. Not by you, but by the realization that they've let something important slip through their fingers. This doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It doesn't mean you should dim your light or shrink back. But it does mean that sometimes, when we live true to ourselves, others may feel exposed. Not because we've done anything to hurt them, but because they are witnessing something in themselves that they have chosen to ignore. Think about it. Have you ever felt discomfort when someone's success or peace made you question your own life choices? It's a natural human reaction. But how we respond to that discomfort is what defines us. You have a choice. You can shrink back, apologize for who you are, and try to make others feel more comfortable. Or you can continue to live fully, unapologetically in your truth, knowing that your light does not diminish theirs, knowing that your peace does not steal theirs, but that your journey, in its authenticity, may just be what they need to wake up to their own. So if someone seems to resent you for being the person you are, or for standing in your truth, remember this: you are not the cause of their discomfort. You are simply the mirror they didn't expect to see. And sometimes, being the mirror is the most powerful thing you can do for someone else. Not by preaching, not by pointing fingers, but by simply living in a way that encourages them to confront the parts of themselves they've been avoiding. And if they are truly ready to grow, they will thank you, even if they never say it out loud. Reason 5. They are battling their own inner storms. We often forget that everyone carries their own battles, their own invisible storms. We look at others and make assumptions, but we rarely know the full story. Behind every reaction, every moment of tension, there's often a struggle they're facing, quietly, silently, within themselves. And sometimes that storm spills over in ways we don't expect. You see, when people lash out or resent you, it's not always about you. It's about them. It's about what's going on inside them, the internal chaos they're trying to manage, the anger, the frustration, the sadness, or even the fear that no one sees. These storms aren't always visible to the naked eye, but they shape how people react, how they relate to the world, and ultimately how they see you. When someone resents your peace, your calm, your ability to stay grounded, it may be because they wish they could have that for themselves. But they are caught in the turmoil of their own emotions, unable to find the stability they so desperately crave. And instead of looking inward, they project it outward. They see your calmness, and it reminds them of their own instability. It's easy to forget that people who seem angry or distant may be fighting battles we can't see. We may think they don't like us, or that they have something against us personally. But what if their anger is really just a mask for deeper pain? What if their resentment is a reflection of their own inability to manage their inner world? We all face these storms at some point. The ones where everything inside us feels like it's swirling out of control. The ones where we feel lost, unsure, or overwhelmed by the weight of our own thoughts and emotions. It's a human experience. But the way people react to these storms, the way they navigate through them, varies greatly. Some people internalize their pain, quietly suffering. Others lash out, pushing people away in an attempt to shield themselves from vulnerability. So when someone seems to hate you, or when they act in ways that make you question your relationship with them, remember this: they are battling something you may never fully understand. And sometimes that battle isn't against you. It's against the storm inside them, one that they're struggling to calm. This doesn't excuse hurtful behavior, but it does give you a deeper understanding of why it happens. It reminds you to meet anger with compassion and frustration with patience. It helps you recognize that when someone pushes you away, it may be because they don't know how to handle their own feelings. It's not about you being wrong or them being right. It's about the complexities of the human experience and the storms we all weather in silence. If you can find it within yourself to see beyond the surface, to recognize the storm within them, you may be able to offer something far more powerful than resentment in return. You can offer understanding, empathy, and the space for healing. not by fixing them, but by being present with them in their pain, by showing them that it's okay to feel lost, it's okay to struggle, and it's okay to not have everything figured out. When we stop taking things personally, when we begin to understand that others are often battling their own inner wars, we can offer them a gift of peace that can help calm their storms, if only for a moment. So, next time you sense resentment or hostility, pause. Ask yourself, what storm are they facing? What battles are they fighting that I can't see? And in doing so, remember that you're not just a bystander in their world. You have the power to be a calming presence, to offer them the compassion they need, even if they never ask for it. As we wrap up today's conversation, I want to leave you with one thought. People's reactions to you aren't always a reflection of you. They're a reflection of them, their struggles, their pain, and their inner storms. When you encounter resentment, hostility, or even silent disconnection, remember, it's often not about what you did, but what they're going through. And in those moments, you have a choice. You can respond with defensiveness or judgment, or you can choose compassion and understanding. It's not easy. But the Stoic way teaches us that true peace comes from within, and our power lies in how we choose to respond, not in how others treat us. By protecting your boundaries, embracing your successes without pride, and offering empathy rather than judgment, you hold the key to transforming how you relate to others and how they relate to you. Remember, everyone is fighting their own battle, and sometimes what they need most is a little grace. When you offer that, not only do you make their storm a little quieter, but you also become a living example of peace amidst chaos. So I encourage you to reflect on these ideas. Be aware of the silent battles others may be fighting. And above all, remain steady in the face of their storms, knowing that your calmness can be the spark that helps them find their own peace. Thank you for joining me today. If this video resonated with you, take a moment to reflect, share your thoughts, and remember, the journey to understanding and compassion starts with us. Until next time, stay calm, stay grounded, and keep reflecting.